Healing a people. If the blacks were amongst the very first builders of civilization and their land the birthplace of civilization, what has happened to them that has left them since then at the bottom of world society? Precisely what happened? The Caucasian answer is simple and well known. The blacks has always been at the bottom. This answer is clear enough in the histories and other educational material which whites so busily prepare for blacks. Almost all of the true answers will be found in the study of the causes of the migration and the tragic results stemming directly from those seemingly endless movements of fragmented peoples. Taken from The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Communion. I will never deny the impact racism and white supremacy have had on African people worldwide. We have suffered physically, emotionally, and mentally. We are still suffering today. Our oppressors have remained steadfast in their efforts in keeping us down. My people, please believe me, this is not about anger, hatred, or blame. This is about healing. For us to move forward, we must acknowledge truth. That is why we must stand up and now examine our role in the destruction of African civilization. In this society, our mistakes are often used against us to elicit specific, desired negative behaviors, making us someone's puppet. Don't allow it. Take time to examine and understand the ancestors' examples, good and bad. There must be no question as to who we were and who we are. One people. Is it not time to forgive ourselves? To learn to love ourselves? To stop the madness and start the healing? Now that reading is taken from my book, right here, Awaken the Mind, Communion with Sean Liburd, the sharing of thoughts and emotions and intimate communications between a people. I wrote this book several years ago, and it is exactly what it says. It was my communication with my community. It's about different issues, different comments and stuff, things that my customers come in and, they talk about, things that I see, I observe, and I notice. And this particular reading was about the destruction of African civilization. When you read your African history, you realize that we were once at the top. And sometimes people ask, what happened? If we were at the top, what happened? Why are we at the bottom now? Well, there's a lot of events that happen in between from that time to right here and now. There's a lot of events that took place, and that's why history is important. That's why a timeline is important. But that's why we have to start in ancient history, because then we get to see when we were on the top and the different factors that played a role in us falling, coming down the mountaintop, right? Including ourselves, because we play a role in that. And the role that I think personally that we played is we moved away from ourselves. We moved to other people's culture. We moved to other people's religions, right? And religion is a part of culture, but just breaking it down, we moved away from ourselves. We moved away from our traditions, right? Our history, our traditions became secondary. As you adapt something that's not of you, you lose the essence of who you are, right? And Chancellor Williams, one of our great historians, our great authors, who spent over 20 years doing research for the destruction of Black civilization. And he financed that all out of his pocket. He mortgaged his house, second mortgaged his house. And he also had the help of African people, local people, in his works, because he wanted his work to be above reproach, right? He wanted his work to be genuine. He didn't want someone funding him that will have an ulterior motive. The Destruction of Black Civilization is one of the books that I recommend in building your library, right? In building your library. So today, I was just doing a quick reading, and I'll do some more reading from my book, Awaken the Mind, Communion with Sean Liburd. And you can pick this book up at Knowledge Bookstore. Right now, it's $15. You can get it online also at knowledgebookstore.com, right? But there's a lot that you can get from the book. It gives you a taste of a lot of other books, a lot of our other historians. I have a section called Building Your Library One Book at a Time, and it highlights some of our historians or some of their works. At the back of the book, I also have a recommendation list that you can take care of. But it's a nice, easy read, and it delves into a lot of different things: history, culture, the ancestors, spirituality, and it shares experiences I've had, experiences that my customers and other community members have shared, right? So I will stop here because I'm beyond my 5-minute mark, but I will be back for another session of Awakening the Mind, Communion with Sean Liburd.